Coach, whenever you're ready, we'll start with a statement, then open up for questions.
Yeah. Well, we can break down the stats a little bit. 42 missed shots, but offense rebounded almost half of our misses. 16 assists on 32 made field goals. 5 guys, almost 7 in double figures. After a 3-14 start in the first quarter, shoot 50% the rest of the way, right? So there's some statistics that are good. It was a quick turnaround. We had a lot of prep and energy, mental and physical, going into the Texas game. Came back real late. Kids had exams. Had a very short prep day. Early start to this one. So clearly didn't respond as well as we had hoped to that beginning. So certainly glad to find a way and to play better as the game went on, sunk our teeth into the game a little bit. And we know we start ACC play soon. We're looking forward to it.
It was kind of an odd game because you came back so late, and then I assume some of the players had exams already, and they got exams coming up.
Yeah.
So is it hard to really find a rhythm in a game like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what they signed on for, right? You can't come to Carolina because you want to go to a top 5 school and a top 10, top 5 basketball program and then complain during exams, right? Like, you've signed on for that, right? But when you get back at 2 in the morning and then have literally an exam that day, and then have one quick practice in prep mode with more exams and then play, yeah, that's not easy, right? And that's not an ideal matchup. Not an ideal makeup to play elite. But I can tell you there's no one in that locker room that's going to make an excuse, right? We came out flat. That's how it was. That's just a fact. We didn't step on their necks defensively. We were a little bit late on our tags. We didn't take any charges. I mean, we were flat, right? Offensively, I thought we were surprised. We were so open that we weren't aggressive on catches, so we turned down shots, which lead to a lack of rhythm. I mean, we were just okay. But they responded better, and I think in a way, that will settle into their stomachs a little bit as we prepare for ACC opener.
Tied a season low 9 turnovers. You have to be happy with that.
I'll pick on E. I think she's one of the best ball handlers in the game. I don't think her 3 are acceptable. I mean, she's better than that, right? And so, 9 turnovers is low. I think 0 is even better. But I'm pleased that Taliyah goes in the game and impacts it, right? Now, I said it on radio, I'll say it again here. I think she's going to be one of the triple-double players at Carolina as well. I mean, she got, 5 rebounds and 11 points and 4 steals and a pogo finish, which she just learned while she's been here. She has learned a lot. She asked a lot of questions. These guys bring her along. They know we need her. And E, what'd you get? Again, pretty quiet in terms of how she performs. But the 3 turnovers, we could have had 6.
Yeah, we should have had 6.
With Taliyah, obviously, a stat-stuffing game. You didn't miss. You had 4 steals, 5 rebounds. Just talk about your all-around game today.
Yeah, well, I got in. Coach gives me the opportunity to kind of come off the bench and bring an energy that can help our starters. I think that is my role on the team, and I take that very serious. I'm going to give 110% energy, effort, intensity, whatever coach or the team needs, I'm there for it. Today that was scoring. Tomorrow it's rebounding. The next day it's defense. Whatever it is, I'm here and 100% ready to kill it.
So you feel like you can help the team in many different ways?
Wherever coach and the team wants to.
She sure can.
You have a week off before Louisville comes to Louisville that almost beat South Carolina and then just won today by 61. Kind of what are some of your thoughts on a Louisville team that seems to be trending very much in the right direction?
Yeah, sort of what I said to someone was asking if I was worried about the ACC. Right, I know the coaches and players in the ACC, and I'm not worried about the ACC. Right, it's a league that will continue to get better throughout the year. Coaches are too good for their teams not to. Players are too good to not kind of find their rhythm. And there was, Jeff had some turnover, so he had to kind of find his rhythm with his new group, right? But the ACC schedules, right? So we've scheduled well, so we're a little more battle tested, and so we have a lot of respect for what Louisville has done. I mean, we've had great battles with them year after year after year, right? Whether it's a week, it's during exams, or it's 2 days. It's a great battle, and we're glad to be home. We haven't been home. I feel like I haven't been home forever. I didn't know my routine at home. But yeah, we know that Louisville will give us a formidable challenge, as they always do. Their players are too good, their coach is too good not to.
Taliyah, what have the kind of older players, and I guess Elina, this is your first time to the ACC, told you about ACC play and some of the stuff you're going to see? Anywhere you're excited to go, or?
I can answer it first. I think I'm excited for the rivalry games. Everybody talks about, it's in our fight song, to we don't like Duke. We don't like State. Those kind of like rivalry games I really am excited to be a part of because you can tell that like every Carolina team bands together against our rivals. I think like that's going to be exciting this year.
Yeah, I agree with her. I'm excited for the competitiveness and how you have to prepare for every game the same way and be ready to play, and you got to show up every day, and then your results going to be good.
Elina, what did you learn from this game? You know, coming off the frustration of Thursday, and what went so well today for you guys with the floor game and everything?
Well, I think we learned to take care of the ball more, especially coming from that Texas game where they pressured us a lot. This game was a little bit different in that way because they started in zone, and I felt like our offense was a little, we were just not as energetic or we weren't playing as hard as we should. So I think that's the biggest thing moving on for next week. Like, we got to be ready from the start and actually like play defense and attack in offense and take our opportunities because we're not going to have as many when we play against Louisville.
You mentioned kind of the slow start, but statistically in the third quarter it was almost perfect. What do you think changed?
Well, I mean, I think when you have a chance to, your teeth are into the game, right? So you've gotten your hands and feet on them, you've kind of got your eyes on them, and then we have a chance to reconnect behind closed doors and get an opportunity to fine tune, to show in some ways some of the things they're not doing well, and they get a chance to look at each other and be accountable. I think that they respond accordingly, and so I thought they did that. Now, this team will have to continue to learn how to do that. Maybe not after the first 20, but for the most part, this is a group that has gotten better game to game. I mean, it's really hard to complain at them. I watch how they practice. That's why I wasn't that I was pissed. I was more like, why? Like, why would you practice so hard and then play kind of right? Doesn't happen very often, thankfully, but now we have to be able to address it when it does.
Just rest and recovery for Renaya to make sure she's ready for Louisville.
Exactly. Yep. I think fortunately, I trust a lot of our young guys so they can kind of shoulder some extra load and let some of our veterans have some rest, like we rested Nyla Harris before the 3 game in 3 days. I think that's really important, and thankfully we feel like we can do that without losing any sleep.
Is that part of Renaya's struggles? I mean, she hasn't hit a field goal the last 2 games.
I know, it's crazy. I know she's got to be frustrated, and I think she's so team oriented that she doesn't let on to that. But she's got to be frustrated. Whether she has her hands and feet, and she has just her soul all into our program, whether she's playing or not. I'm sure these guys feel that way. So even though she wasn't in uniform today, she has her imprint on us. But we're fully, for a kid that's done it, you just know it's going to be all right. Like, she's going to be fine. We just, we've got to have that. She started her freshman season 0 for 16. Or maybe it was 1 for 16, and I remember meeting with her and saying, I don't make recruiting mistakes, so we're just going to keep believing in you, and look at how her freshman year ended, right? So she's just got to keep believing in herself and keep trusting in it, and she will. She's proven that, and this is the part of the season that she's most excited about, and so I think we've handled her off-season, or her preseason pretty well to put her in the best position to help us be successful.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier the idea of like team spirit, especially in those rivalry games. It does really seem like on the whole, this kind of collective team performance has been a big part of your season and today. I mean, 5 separate players had double-digit points, which is pretty incredible. What do you think has defined that kind of collective aspect of the season, and how important is it for you as a coach and you guys as players to keep working on that?
I'll go first because I think I feel very strongly about this. I think show me a competitor, right, and that the competitors are the best teammates because they actually do care about winning the most. The kids that are actually are racing to the stat sheet after the game, and there's plenty of them in our game, they're not as competitive, quite honestly. Right? These guys Elena's played against pros for many years. She came here not because she's excited about going to English class tomorrow, right? She came here because she thought this was a program where she could make a mark, right? And we could be good as a program, right? Taliyah, as I'm sure you just saw, she had other choices as well, right? But she, on her visit and with our conversations, she knew this was a program that could get her the best chance to get to a Final Four where she could help us do that, right? And so I think I've got a whole team of those kind of guys. And so that's partly why the first quarter I was confused. It's hard to get mad at them because I know how competitive they are because they're not racing to the stat sheet. Now they care, their numbers matter, right? If E or Taliyah play as many minutes as they did and don't contribute statistically, that's a problem, right? So I'm not saying it doesn't matter. The stat sheet doesn't matter. What I'm saying is if it matters more than the result, right? That shows itself in so many different ways. And then what happens is those kids start talking about how they're really competitive and they're not selfish. That's not what these kids ever talk about, right? Because that's just so not in their realm of thinking. So I do think their collective camaraderie is because they really do care genuinely about winning, right? As do I. I've recruited kids that kind of fit my personality. Again, it's not that my win-loss record doesn't matter. It does matter, right? But like you're either about winning and you're an elite competitor, or you're not. There's not really a midway. And so these guys are T didn't play as much as she usually does against Texas. There was not one long face, none of that crap. She was just like whatever the team needs for the next game. So no one is surprised this is how she performed. She practiced yesterday, ready to do this, right? Those are the type of teammates we have, and I think that's the undertold story, actually. I think that the overtold story is how talented, we have so many talented players. It's like a lot of people don't have really talented players because they have 3 of them that are selfish. So then the really talented ones who are team players don't want to be there because the really other ones are so selfish, right? This is a talented group of people that truly are about winning, and that matters.
In previous games, it's been either Harris or Grant starting the lineup, and today was the first time with both. How does that change the way you run your offense, or does it not?
It does, because that means we had 2 bigs in, right? And so that gives us some strengths. It gives us some things that out of rhythm that we haven't done as often. I don't think it matters necessarily which one. It's that now she's navigating a bigger lineup versus a smaller lineup on both ends, right? So it's just different, and I think that's one of our strengths. As Taliyah continues to evolve in our program, she'll sort of be both. She'll be a small lineup and a big lineup, right? I mean, today I think she played the 3, the 4, and 5 in one game, right? And so I think that's what changes it. It allows you to be. There are certain teams in the ACC that we won't be able to be big the whole time. We'll be able to be small the whole time. So I think we've done a good job as a program putting ourselves big and small at different times to get more and more rhythm with that. But again, like Laney's not here crying about not starting, or Harris or whoever else hasn't. I don't exactly remember who has and hasn't. Renaya, right? It's about whatever we can do to make sure that we can continue to progress to be good enough, right? And again, as a coach, not that they don't care how they perform, but as a coach, it allows me to dive all in, knowing that winning is the primary focus.
Yeah, you talked about continuing to progress. I guess what's the number 1 priority for the team ahead of Louisville? What you really want to work on in training?
For me, it's I need them to, which we talked about in the locker room. We just need to own the reality that they're in exams, right? So when they're not in exams, they need to be here, and when they are in exams, they need to be there, right? We can't kind of be half and half, and that we're not. Louisville doesn't care that we're in exams. Our fans don't care that I don't care that we're in exams, right? So they're going to have to navigate that accordingly, and I have to navigate that to give them the time on the heavier days that they need to prepare, a little bit of extra off time. But we know Louisville is a very formidable opponent. Jeff's one of the better coaches in our game. He has some of the more talented players in our team. He's got a winning tradition in his program. I mean, we've battled them. I mean, I remember all the way back when that ball went out at the last second. We beat Louisville when they were like a top 5 team, and we were still building. This is just the ACC, as he said, you have to win them all. And if you go and beat Louisville and then you go lose to whoever's perceived to be the worst team, it doesn't matter, right? So the next game on our schedule is Louisville, and it happens to be against a very, very good team, right? Yet then you have to go on to the next one and see how it all plays out in the end, right? So I know for these guys, they haven't worried about it at all because we do one game at a time. But the next time I see them, I know their eyes will be locked into what's the next challenge.
So you have 4 steals. What was working for you defensively, but also just collectively as a team for some of these players?
I would say just my teammates' ability to kind of cause disruptions. I was able to see the ball before it got to my player, but it's because of our team collective communication and to speed them up. I wouldn't be able to get those without my team.
This is back to that unselfish, and any of you can answer this, but
He will go. She loves answering questions.
there was a play late in the third quarter. There's a steal, pass up in transition. I think Laney passed up.
Laney, back to Indy.
Yes.
Or is it you?
How important is it for you guys to pass up a good shot for a great shot, and where do you kind of see that helping this team down the road?
Yeah, I think it's very important. It's something we really emphasize, finding the best shots in the offense, whether it's early in the shot clock or not, but just trying to find the ways to get the best shot. I also think like that position really shows our competitiveness, but also we don't care who scores as someone does it. Like when someone scores, we're happy, we want to win, but we don't care like how many passes it needs. Like we're gonna do it. Yeah, I think that just like shows our game and our like mentality.
I think there were times where E was a little unselfish, right? And so I think sometimes,
Turnovers.
yeah, sometimes we've got to make sure that the best shot, we're so used to the best shot being we force closeouts and we play with space and all the things. And sometimes we get so excited about creating it for the next guy instead of, wait, they just created it for you, right? And so sometimes their unselfishness, they'll see that on film. I thought we missed opportunities to take some charges. It's a toughness stat. They'll see some of that on film. We'll have to figure out as coaches what part of the film is relevant to prepare us for the next opponent, and where do we move on, and that will be to be determined. But sometimes they're a little bit too unselfish, actually, offensively. So we try to talk about making the right basketball play, whatever that play is. And in that particular moment, that was the right basketball play. Fun to watch.
Any other questions? Perfect. Thanks, everyone.
Sounds good. Thanks.
I met your family, and they